On this episode of Salt and Siren, it is time to vacate Chicago. We thought we'd show you kind of a point by point, get a couple days in for this particular episode. So sit back and enjoy. Welcome. Maps are wonderful. I figured I'd build you a few maps so that way you could kind of see what would happen from point to point. So our first part of our trip was Chicago to Joliet, where we would hit the free wall for the first night. This part of our trip was only 38 miles, not bad for a first day, considering we didn't know what the hell we were doing. So truth be told, it is a little strange to look back on this moment, considering how far we've come. This was the morning that we left. We decided to take off somewhere around like 7 a.m. To see if we could get as much time in as possible with sunlight kind of dying in October. And that was the last time we saw our marina in Chicago. So it was a great summer and a little sad to go. But I do recall how nervous we were at this very moment because we had no idea what was ahead. So the first part of this trip would have us doing a lock, of which we've never done before, and it is the lock that is from Lake Michigan into the Chicago River. We managed okay. It was a little rough for a moment, but we got the hang of it in later locks. But it was a beautiful sight, actually, to really go through the city from that perspective. If you ever have a chance to do it, we highly suggest it.
Have a good one, guys. Thanks for being our lock buddies.
So just to note, as you head towards Chicago, there are some height requirements, and you'll want to be mindful of those, namely the bridges. And for those of you who have a vessel that is taller than 17 feet, you're probably going to need to either take down your fly bridge or whatever is making it that high, and if you can't do that, then you'll take the CalSag, which is just south of the city, and you'll be able to get through there with ease. So after a pretty awesome tour of the city, we started making our way towards the sanitation canals, which will lead you to the Illinois River. This was our first bridge that we had to wait for, that is usually up, apparently, according to the guides that we were using. And we also passed plenty of barges in this section, as it's a heavy barge traffic, which was new for us. We've never had to deal with barges yet. I spent a lot of time on the radio talking and probably was quite chatty if you'd ask these barge operators. I'm all about some safety, so that's what they got. But it was pretty heavy traffic through this area, and a little unnerving considering we had never done it before. But you know, these guys are obviously super professional and really, really kind, and so it was not too bad. So if you're new to passing barges, don't be too afraid.
Nice work, Kat.
And just like that, we were 38 miles in, tied up to the Joliet Wall, made some new friends, made some dinner. It was a pretty decent first day. Pippi did really well, considering she's only been on short trips, and she found her sweet spot for the evening. So for all of you who are wondering about how Pip did, I think it's safe to say it was okay. One of the really cool things about this lifestyle, and this will not be news for those of you who are already liveaboards, but are the people that you meet. They really are something amazing, and you share something kind of unique with these people. and we traveled with this group. We made some breakfast while we were waiting for bridges to open, and got into our first locks on the Illinois with them as well. And this is not the first one that we did on the Illinois. I think this is the second one, but we learned how to raft at this particular lock, which was something new to us. I feel like we did something new every single day, but you can see next to us, this is Bill and Jenny's boat. Really beautiful, beautiful boat. And I think it was a learning lesson for all of us, which was kind of cool. And we had a good time just learning the locks and how they operate. And then we became the rafters. Another learning lesson, and a little nerve-wracking because of course you don't want to do any damage to anybody else's boat. But this was like the third or fourth lock at this point, and we were all just professionals by then.
This is really our first delay. We're at Starved Rock Lock, and they're currently loading. See that very well? Oh, they're almost already in. 2 barges side by side. And they've asked us to sit here on this, tie off to this big Ritz cracker. So we're tied off. Not sure how we did it, but with this wind and all the craziness going on with current, did it. Nailed it. Threaded a needle. So we're sitting here waiting. We got our buddies over there, back there, on another cracker. And we're having a little catch our breath, put something in our stomach. We're trying to get to our next location
Before dark.
which is about 15 miles yet to go. It's about it's probably coming on 3 o'clock, so we think we can get done here shortly.
All right, what you didn't see was getting onto that Ritz cracker, which was a feat in itself, a little scary. And then watching this, you know, ghost ship, if you will, because there's no barge behind it. It's just the containers go by. And but it wasn't a bad wait, really. It was only maximum maybe an hour, if that. And then we were on our way again. And then we would be to our second port for the night, making it through another successful day. It was uncharacteristically cold for this time of year, so I was really happy to find a hot shower at our destination, which was Spring Valley Marina. Super great people there, by the way. And I'm going to give you a shot of our dinner because Todd was so impressed that I made falafel. I don't even cook that good at home. Don't know what got into me, but there you go. So that was our second day. We went from Joliet to Spring Valley Marina, did a couple of locks in between. Our buddy boats, most of them stayed in Ottawa. We were the only one that went to Spring Valley, but it was a quiet night, and we prepared for our third day. On the next episode of Salt and Siren, we start bright and early. It gets cold, maybe a little too cold. I show you what liveaboard life is really like. Ouch. We run into some old friends, which are really new friends, but will surely be old friends. And we figure out our route as we move from Peoria to Grafton. See you next time.